What's going on, everybody? Vinny back here with your next episode of Not Another Insurance Podcast. Yes, as you can tell with this new raspy voice, it's allergy season.
Allergy season.
Kicking off this second episode of our continuing series, which breaks down different insurance policies, which many of you out there likely have questions on, we are going to be talking about the confusion over a collision coverage policy. So let's get started with the big question. What is collision coverage? I'm going to start off with an example. I was driving out the other morning and I passed this accident along the side of the road. Now, two questions popped into my mind. One, how much were those damages going to cost? And two, why did the song on the radio align perfectly with the collision? Anyways, the thought of how much money that was going to cost out of pocket without insurance makes my wallet hurt, literally. So then I had the question. Did either of the drivers have collision coverage? I sure hope so. The point of this story, though, is to illustrate the importance of collision coverage, as this is what's going to be needed to cover any expensive repairs and costs to your car in an accident when you are deemed at fault. Now, it's important to recognize that a collision policy will cover your car specifically. The other driver's car will have to be covered by personal liability insurance, which we can get into in a future episode. With that said, let's look at some of the events that collision coverage would include. One common scenario would be a typical car accident. Then there's car collisions, which could happen with static objects, such as trees, fire hydrants, or even parked cars on the side of the road. Situations where your car is stuck in a pothole, ditch, or on a flooded road after a storm could also be taken care of by collision coverage. And let's not forget any damage inflicted on your vehicle because of a hit and run. Let's also mention what collision insurance doesn't cover. So, auto damages from natural disasters or weather such as thunderstorms, floods, tornadoes, and blizzards will not be covered. Collision with an animal is another example, as they are considered a part of nature. Any medical costs for injuries sustained will also never fall under collision coverage. And then lastly, theft or vandalism will not fall under this either. So this means no coverage or reimbursement will be available. Now, these varying situations will be covered by things such as personal liability or personal injury policies or comprehensive insurance. Now, be sure to check with your provider that you are covered on all those fronts. Now, let's talk about collision insurance rates. The annual cost generally ranges from $250 to $500, but the average cost itself is about $382. Here at Insurance Navy, we can offer our rates at a lower price, but keep in mind, driving history, deductible range, and other details will affect your cost. Make sure to remember this. When purchasing a policy, the most significant deciding factor of your collision coverage is going to be the current value of your car. Know that this is not the same price that you bought it for. In other words, the insurance company is not likely to cover that Pinto you've been keeping around in your garage for the last 3 decades. So, let's say you have the collision coverage now. You have all the necessary paperwork needed to repair your car. So the big question is, how much are you actually going to be paying? Well, for one, your driving history is going to be considered. Then there's the factors like your age, gender, marital status, and the state you live in. The final details that are going to affect your costs are your deductible and rates. These are based completely on the value of your car. So, the average range of your deductible can be between $250 to $1,000, but it can be higher in some instances. So, in the event that you were to get into an accident and file for a collision claim, the deductible amount would be taken off the repair costs. Once you receive a payout equal to your car's value, the deductible will be subtracted from it. A few things to remember when it comes to deductibles. Number 1, you have the ability to control your deductible amount anywhere from $500 to $1,000. These options have to do with fully adjustable deductibles and customizable policy limits. Number 2, a smaller deductible means you'll pay less out of pocket for repairs. And number 3, avoid filing claims too often, as they'll make you appear a higher risk driver. Now, whether you need to purchase collision insurance or pass on it is dependent on the circumstances. For instance, if you're concerned about a high number of reckless drivers around you, you very well may want collision coverage to financially protect yourself from those other drivers. Perhaps, though, you own a car worth less than $30,000. The costs would be low enough in this case that you'd be better off with basic liability insurance. Or maybe you're like me and you enjoy traveling. So I typically carry collision insurance when renting a vehicle, so I'm covered when I'm miles away from home and my vacation isn't ruined in the event of an accident. Now, we've covered a lot of information pertaining to collision coverage and what it is. It's fair, however, to mention some shopping tips. So number 1, when shopping, compare and contrast different quotes. Number 2, always remember to lead with your car's value and driving record when talking to an agent. And number 3, if you're unfamiliar with your car's value, consult Kelly's Blue Book. That wraps up our talk today on collision coverage. With that being said, if you want to give us a big helping hand, go ahead, click that like and subscribe button and hit that dingy bell to be notified every time we drop new content right here at Insurance Navy Brokers. And don't forget to check out that link in our description below to follow us on all of our platforms and learn more about insurance. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you all next time.